morning on a Super Sunday, where Super Bowl 53 is going to go down on this turf. Maroon 5, as you can hear the dulcet tones of Maroon 5 coming in. They will be performing halftime tonight, among others. And if you've just joined us, welcome. It's 10 a.m. Eastern Time right here in Atlanta, also the same time zone as the Patriots. It's now 7 a.m. in Los Angeles, California, where Rams fans are waking up.
Rise and shine.
On a Super Bowl Sunday, getting set to hopefully watch the Lombardi Trophy being brought back to Los Angeles, California, where it's never been. I mean, this could be a very, very, very big day. So, Steve Mariucci, here we go. Sunday storylines on a Super Sunday is
well, Rich, history will be made today. We talk about coaches. Well, if Bill Belichick wins this, he will be the oldest coach ever to win a Super Bowl, surpassing Tom Coughlin at age 65. Bill will be 66. But if the Rams win, Sean McVay will be the youngest coach at 33 years old. There are players older than him today, but he will surpass a guy, maybe you're familiar with it, Kurt, named Mike Tomlin. He was 36 years old in Super Bowl 43. Who is he playing against?
Oh, boy.
There it is. Okay. You know what?
I knew this play somehow, some way was going to make its way into the show.
The youngest coach ever to win a Super Bowl. You got to...
Oh, my word.
That
has nothing to do with coaching.
Mike Tomlin, I'm really sorry to have to do that, but that was awesome, man.
Are you really sorry you had to do that?
No,
I mean, really?
What's your storyline?
Well, I tell you what, 17 years ago on this exact day, there was a young 24-year-old quarterback that came into the Super Bowl and facing a possible dynasty, and we all know the story of Tom Brady. February 3rd, 2002 will always be remembered as the day the GOAT was born. Well, today we've got a 24-year-old quarterback that's going to be playing against that GOAT, playing against the dynasty of the New England Patriots, and I can't wait to see how this plays out. A lot riding on this for both guys, but will this be the day that the next chapter is written for Jared Goff, where he takes down the GOAT and maybe it propels him to another place in his career or takes him to an eventual place where we're talking about him 17 years from now playing in another Super Bowl. So you talked about the young coach and the old coach. I'm talking about the young quarterback and the old quarterback, both with something huge to play for.
Yeah, and it's amazing, too, that just to play off of what you said before you hop in, Irv, that you will always say if Goff wins it tonight, right? You say to him, hey, soak it in because you never know when you're going to get back. Right. Mm-hmm. If you had said that to Brady that night, he's been back 8 more times now.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
It's incredible. That is unbelievable. But you guys are going age and youth. I'm going to go youth and youth. Coach, how old did you say McVay is?
33.
33 years old. On the other end, he's going up against the young man, Brian Flores, who's about to be the head coach for the Miami Dolphins and the defensive coordinator for the Patriots. And I'm telling you, if this man can come in and stop this young genius, because that's what the league has dubbed him, Sean McVay, the young genius, and it's bad that everybody wants the next Sean McVay, maybe he can stake a flag in the ground for 2 things. For defensive coordinators and getting their job, and getting head coaching jobs, but also for African Americans, because out of the 8 coaches, 5 were African Americans that lost their jobs last year, and he's the only African American that got a new job. So I hate to put that kind of pressure on him, but the reality is that pressure's on him. He can make a claim today.
And obviously he's going to stay in division.
Right.
Brian Flores, the head coach of the Dolphins, and then Zach Taylor, who's the quarterback's coach on the other sideline, is going to be the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals as of the end of this game as well. It's just many different storylines obviously playing out. Aditi Kinkhabwala is with the Patriots outside of their team hotel here in Atlanta. Aditi?
And Rich, it's a hotel that is definitely waking up. We're seeing quite a bit more activity. Player personnel director Nick Caserio was just out pushing a stroller. We saw Brian Flores in the lobby handing out lanyards. And Julian Edelman just came back in after about a 45-minute workout. We saw him leave with a football, a bucket of equipment. Edelman, of course, is Tom Brady's favorite pass catcher. Brady has thrown a playoff pass to 65 different receivers. Edelman is atop the list. We've talked a bit this week about their bromance. But wide receiver Philip Dorsett told me there's nothing mystical about it. He said Jules just does everything that Tom does. Now let's go to Omar Ruiz, who's with the Rams.
Hey, Aditi, things picking up here, too. Just saw Rams general manager Les Snead feeling confident about this day. With this nearly year 3 completed in the books for the Rams' return to Los Angeles and a fan base still very much growing, I asked Sean McVay earlier this week what a Super Bowl win would mean for that legacy in creating a new generation of fans. He told me they've already seen how the team's success can help galvanize the community after the tragic shootings and fires of the fall. The way the fan base came together to help support one another at one of the great regular season games of all time. That Monday night thrilling win over the Chiefs was a promising sign of things to come, especially with a new stadium on the horizon. As Rams receiver Robert Woods, who grew up in Los Angeles, went to high school, college, and now plays his pro ball there, said if he can make an impact like his idols, Shaq and Kobe, that would truly be legendary. And speaking of legends,
this time it ain't game, the mentality of the quarterback. Cash money throw. He is heating up. What a throw! Holy smokes, Tom Brady. He's fired up. You need to worry about you and let me do that. Brady's back! You'll never see another one like this one. Greatest quarterback to play the game. What you gonna do? Fight around. We're going to our 4th Super Bowl in 5 years. Well, I call Tom Brady the GOAT. What's up, GOAT?
Go.
Okay, a lot of goats there.
Remember Goat Boy, Jim Brewer?
Yes. I totally forgot about that until just now. Look
That's
at
why
that.
I'm here.
See, this is great.
What was that? I had no idea.
No, doesn't matter. We're going to talk about stopping the Patriots and the GOAT, Tom Brady. How did the Rams defense do it?
Well, whichever defensive lineman up front that gets singled up during this game, they just have to win, and they have to win fast because Tom Brady gets the ball out faster than any quarterback in the National Football League. And to me, it's going to come down to Ndamukong Suh. We talked about it earlier. He's had probably his 2 best games of his career in the playoffs. We need, or not we, but the Rams need this guy to win and win fast. I mean, Tom Brady only completes 50% of his passes when he gets pressure from the interior, and he only has a 63 passer rating when he has pressure from the interior through this season and through the playoffs. So to me, it seems like the formula to beat Tom Brady, as we all know, is to get quick pressure right through the middle of that pocket to get him off of his spot.
Well, you say get quick pressure. You got to make Brady feel you. You got to rattle him. You got to get him off his spot. You have to make sure that when you walk past him, you just kind of give him a little shove, a little love tap to let him know. Since 2006, when the quarterback hits have been tracked, Tom Brady's 11-2 when hit fewer than 5 times. But 8-7 when he's hit at least 5 times. So what does that tell me? That tells me you have to get him uncomfortable, because if he could just sit back there and throw the ball without worrying about anything, that is not good for the opposing team, because he will get comfortable. He will start to go to work on you. He will start to sometimes they go touchdown to check down. He'll start looking at the check down. He'll say, what the hell with that? I'm going to go for the touchdown. You don't want to get a Tom Brady comfortable. You want to get him uncomfortable.
And as always, the back end's going to have to help with that. They're going to have to cover long enough for those guys to get home. And in the AFC Championship game, we saw something that you heard Aditi Kinkabwala talking about, Tom Brady and Julian Edelman. We saw something that they go to very often, which is the motion to allow Edelman to free up. And watch the confusion. No communication there, and Kendall Fuller got spun because those 2 guys didn't know who was taking who. I talked to Aqib Talib earlier in the week about this. He says, well, it depends on the coverage call, which means zone or man, but you've got to communicate, and they feel really good about their ability to communicate, especially with Talib back there. Remember when he was out earlier in the season, there was a lot of confusion on the back end, particularly on that long touchdown that the Saints had earlier in the season. So communication, huge.
Mike Robbie, you usually have the X.
I know, man. Jeezy out there doing his thing. I appreciate you. I must be rubbing off on you, man.
You're absolutely rubbing off on me in more ways than one, my friend. But Talib told me, so I said I had to go find it. Found it on the tape. They doctored it up.
But again, what you just showed was something that Sean McVay talked about this week, right? The Patriots usually win because a lot of times they don't lose the game. You know what I mean? They're always in the right place. And you look at right there, the Kansas City Chiefs, they weren't in the right place.
place.
Look, they have to stop the Patriots' run game here. Look, if you go back in the postseason, Bill Belichick.
as a quarterback, and you're talking about the run game?
Listen, I know it's like crazy. What? Roll the dice with Tom Brady here. I'm serious though. Look, the Patriots, they're 11-0 in the postseason when they rush for 100 yards since 2001. And Nickel Roby-Coleman, he got crushed for saying that Tom Brady is taking a step back, doesn't look the same. But you know what? He's not totally wrong.
No, he wasn't.
And all season we talked about how some of those throws that Brady has made typically in his career, they're just not there. I mean, he was missing obvious tosses, and it's like that's what you need to do against Tom Brady. You got to get physical with him. You got to make him hold on to the ball longer. And it's not like those guys, the receivers, there's not a ton of guys that can get good separation. So stop the run.
Not a lot of guys that can get a lot of separation, but Josh McDaniels does a great job of scheming things and creating free releases, as Jeezy just showed in that XL.
Yeah, and speaking of taking away the run, that's what we saw last week with, or 2 weeks ago with Todd Gurley in the NFC Championship game. We didn't see a whole lot from him, Ian Rappaport. So what do you expect? What's going on with him for today?
Well, Todd Gurley was not on the injury report this week, so officially and actually he is healthy. But we know his knee is not quite right. His surgically repaired knee from a couple of years ago has limited him at various points this season. I talked to running backs coach Skip Pete earlier in the week, who said he actually told Gurley, the workload you had before you took a little break, week 16 and 17, you can't do that anymore. They do expect there to be a little bit of a sharing of the carries between C.J. Anderson, who, of course, really has impressed since he was signed late in the season, and Todd Gurley for a couple reasons. The focus for Gurley is keeping him healthy and fresh. His cardio is not quite what it has been. They want him to look sharp when he's on the field, so he will split carries, Colleen, with C.J. Anderson to make sure that that happens.
All right, we'll see what happens today. Tons still to come here. Oh, wow, look at Mercedes-Benz Stadium.